Let's turn our attention to number 10. Either the value of an artwork is entirely a function of its intrinsic properties, or its value is affected by extrinsic factors. So let's let that be maybe I or E, or it's entirely intrinsic or it's affected by extrinsic. If the value of a work of art is entirely a function of its intrinsic properties, so if I, then, the fact that a work of art was produced by a particular artist wouldn't affect its value. So I don't know, let's say maybe it's not the case that the artist matters. Can we conclude something at this point? I mean, we do have two claims, so ask yourself that. Can we conclude something? If so, what? And would that be a valid or an invalid inference that takes us there? Pause the video, think for a bit, come back when you're ready. Okay, can we conclude something? I don't think so. I mean, it looks maybe like a dilemma is being set up because we have an or statement and then we have an if-then statement, and the front part of the if-then is one of the things or. So I'm going to hold out for a dilemma. Let's continue to read. If the fact that a work of art was produced by a particular artist doesn't affect its value, so if the artist doesn't matter, then a sketch on a napkin wouldn't cost a lot of money. So it's not the case that we're to have expensive sketches. What now? Could we conclude something at this point? If so, what would that be? And would it be an invalid or a valid inference that takes us there? Pause the video, think for a bit, come back when you're ready. Okay, I think we can conclude something, but I said that after this second claim, I was sort of expecting a dilemma, and I was, but I did not get a dilemma. If I were to get the third statement of either a simple or a complex dilemma, it would need to be a conditional that starts with E, right? If E then, and I don't have that. But I do have a conditional that has as its front part the back part of a previous conditional, which means I can do hypothetical syllogism and conclude if I, then not S, just from the second claim and the third claim. But I have not used the first claim yet, and I don't want to forget about it, so I'm just going to highlight it so that I'll remember to come back to it. Okay, let's continue. But sketches on a napkin can cost a lot of money. Okay, so, but they can. So again, ask yourself, can you conclude something at this point? If so, what would that be? And would the inference that takes you there be valid or invalid? Pause the video, think for a bit, come back when you're ready. Okay, what do you think? I think we can conclude something. This says, if I, then not S. If front, then back. And we have S as another premise, which is the opposite of the back here, which means we can conclude the opposite of the front, not I. That would be valid. Modus tollens, and the previous one was valid with hypothetical syllogism. So we're fine so far. And now look. This I or E is still out there to be used. We can use it now. What can we conclude at this point? We can conclude something else. So pause the video, think for a bit, come back when you're ready. Okay, this says either I or E. We've just concluded not I. So now at this point, we can conclude something else. We can conclude E. Valid with disjunctive syllogism. Either I or E, but not I, so it must be E. Okay, next claim. Either the value of an artwork is divorced from its merit, or it's unaffected by extrinsic factors. So E is that it is affected by extrinsic factors. So if it's unaffected, it must be not E. And I see the therefore coming up. So we are now supposed to be able to conclude the value of an artwork is divorced from its merit. Can I? Is that a valid inference that takes me there? Pause the video, think for a bit, come back when you're ready. Okay, well, let's see. This is an or statement, D or not E, but we know E. E is the opposite of not E. So basically what we're saying is it's either D or it's not E, but it's not E. So it's gotta be D. Valid. Very good. So 10 is valid. Excellent. So now we are heading on to our final unit of entirely symbolized arguments. I'll see you there.